Despite its valuable contributions, the Presidio and the Sixth Army would soon become the victims of military downsizing. Commanding General Glenn Mallory took over the Sixth Army in 1991.
Remember, we had a formation here.
But soon after he arrived, a decision was made to close the Presidio. The base would be turned over to the National Park Service.
When I came here, I had not an inkling of an idea that it would close. And as I did my research before arriving and saw the magnificent history, a continually occupied military garrison since 1776, my wildest dream, I couldn't fathom that we would close such a historic place.
It fell to General Mallory to oversee the transition from military post to national park. In October of 1994, the flags were furled, marking the end of the Presidio's 218 years of continuous service as a military garrison.
It was emotional not only for the significance at the moment, but because of all the history and all the soldiers who had served here.
9 months later, the Sixth Army itself was formally inactivated. General Mallory once again presided over an emotional final retreat.
We followed in formation and we marched off down this street and then down Lombard and out the gate, symbolizing that the Army who came to the Presidio through the Lombard gate and had sent many soldiers that way was marching out the gate for the last time.
Born of war, the Sixth Army vanished in a time of peace. Though its troops marched away, its legacy lingers on in the memories of those who served in the Presidio and within the walls of Building 38.
Although the flag will be raised in a national park, the legacy of the Army and its presence will never die nor fade. The memory of the proud soldiers of the Presidio will live on within all of us and in the glorious history of this remarkable place, the Presidio of San Francisco.
Now this headquarters was wide open. There was no security. You could just walk in. So this is before the terrorist days. You could literally, we would find people just wandering through the building.
These days we have our virtual receptionist over here.
Right.
You had a real.
This place is more secure now than it was when I was here as an officer. Now this was the Sanctum Sanctorum. This was the general's office in here. There was another general here. There was a one-star general here, and there was a three-star general over here. Yeah.
So this was the general. This
was the general's office. You either came in here for two reasons. You had legitimate business, or you're going to get your ass chewed out.
The windows are the same, the walls are the same, but there were partitions here. My office was from about right here over.
When I was here, this was sort of a paneled, almost musty old office, very reminiscent of the offices that the Army had had since the days of World War II, of course, when this was established that way. Look at these interesting pictures they have on the wall here now, though. Used to have military pictures here.
Downstairs on January 12, 1948, is where I raised my right hand and said that I would serve faithfully against all enemies, foreign and domestic. But to even imagine coming back as an officer at that time was really in the, in the outer zone somewhere. And I would once in a while check when I was here to make sure there was a two-star flag out there, because I remembered as a private thinking that was kind of neat to have your own flag.
So we're on our way to the attic?
Upstairs in the attic was the Sixth Army Aviation Detachment.
What we call the third floor.
That's right. Your third floor we call the attic, which is where we kept the birdmen, the pilots.
So now you got this big space over here.
Yeah, this was the flight detachment. Right. So you can see the way the ceiling here is different than downstairs.
Right.
This tree wasn't here.
No, this wasn't here. That was the solid wall there was where the duty officer would be stationed, and there was a cut-through window here basically with a little ledge. I see this is just,
There used to be a room in this corner. The door is shut here, but it used to be a bed and a room and intercom. And you're connected to all the units throughout 8 western states for the general. So when you're on duty, a duty officer, you act in behalf of the 6th Army headquarters. Army career is my life. I served 28 years, 3 wars. I went to 3 wars, and always came back to Presidio. This headquarters has such a history that I was amazed that they'd give it up, you know.
Now, Linda, remember we had a formation here. We put this plaque in and had all of those guys back from World War II that came for it, remember? Had a formation right here. 6th Army, born of war.
And we got the nice grassy area right across the street.
Right.
Was that used for anything?
it's a parade ground. They
was
actually
parade
had
ground.
parades here. And the 6th Army had a band, and they would parade the band back and forth for things like retirement parades and things. This whole thing up here used to be all the way up the Officers Club. That was a parade ground. They turned it into a parking lot, I think in the 50s, up there. And in front of the Officers Club, there used to be, I still delight in parking on top of the space that says any general officer, because in those days, only general officers could park there. But even today, I see visitors drive up, they look at it, and then they don't park there, because that stuff is so mystical. You know,